Okay, so what we're going to look at in this video is subtractive synthesis, and for this we're going to use operator. So we'll grab an operator and drag it in. Now with subtractive synthesis, there's really two main components to it. First one is a rich harmonic waveform, and the second component is a filter. And so essentially what we do is we use the filter to subtract frequencies from the rich harmonic waveform, and that's essentially subtractive synthesis. So to start with, in operator, what I'll do is I'll turn off all the other oscillators and just leave this guy. I'll just have a bit of a tail in as well. Okay. So I want to choose a good waveform. So what I'll choose is a saw. As you'll see, if I choose saw, no, I'll choose saw D. I will choose saw 64. Okay, there we go. So we've got something with a lot of harmonics there, as you can see. What I'll do is I will chuck on a spectrum so we can analyze it as well. Right. So we can see the waveform there, lots of harmonics. So essentially, I'll just pull that off. Okay, so we go into the filter section, which is already active. And just a bit of a rundown on this. So in the filter section, you've got your different filter options there, like a low pass and high pass. I've got a morphing one in there, which is quite fun. You can choose also different options for the filter. So here you've got basically different drive options that can really drive it hard. We'll just leave it clean for now. Over in this section, you can shape it via envelope, or click on here and you've actually got your filter. So when I move that frequency, you'll see it moving there. So essentially, I mean, I'll just play a note. Okay, so you can see what the frequency is doing there. So you can play around a bit with that. Okay, so another fun thing to do with subtractive synthesis is to actually apply some modulation to the filter. And one way of doing this is to put the LFO onto the filter. So what you can do is, I'll just put this back on a low pass for now. Click in the LFO section, activate it. Now you'll see here by default its destination is the oscillator, so switch that off, and you've got FIL here, which is filter. So click on filter, and now you're actually sending the LFO to the filter, so it's modulating directly on the filter. To give you a bit of an idea on the LFO there, obviously you can choose your waveforms. You can choose low or high frequency or sync. I'll put it in sync for now. That's for the rate. You'll see that'll change here. That'll snap to our tempo. And then obviously the amount of LFO I'm applying. So I'll just play a note here and we'll just hear some of this. Okay, so you can hear basically what the LFO is doing there. Some fun things to do. Let's have a look. So here, using a bit of a notch. And just applying a small amount. Things can get a bit more gnarlier if you start adding some other things. For example, saturator's always quite nice. Now I'd also like to spread the sound a little bit too. So you should hear that spread a little bit, and I'd like to just kick in a little bit of this saturator. So yeah, things can get pretty gnarly. You can get some very fat driven sounds there. So basically, that is subtractive synthesis. So it's essentially choosing a good waveform, a rich waveform, rich in harmonics, and then applying a filter and choosing your filter type. And then filtering out frequencies, and therefore subtracting frequencies, and therefore that's how we have subtractive synthesis.